Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that remembers that time Robin couldn't start the Batmobile. He said, "Batman, I can't start the Batmobile." Batman says, "Check the battery." Robin said, "What's a Terry?" Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at DC Comics deck building game Dark Knight's Metal from Cryptozoic. In the DC Comics deck building game, Dark Knight's Metal from Cryptozoic, 2 to 5 players take on the roles of some of those delightful superheroes as they have all sorts of kooky adventures. Now, this game, of course, is very similar to previous editions of the DC Comics deck building game. I've reviewed them in the past. I'm not going to go over the basic concepts here, except to say that I've very much enjoyed those other games. Check out some of those reviews for The Discriminating Gamer. Now, in this one, there are some very different and important differences in this game. For instance, you have several of the oversized superhero cards. Everybody has one to begin with, but you can lose those and possibly even gain more than one. At the beginning of the game, you each select an oversized superhero, but the rest of them you place face down, and you place them under the card of the Batman Who Laughs, who is one of the evil characters, because this takes place in these weird dimensions where there's all sorts of kooky goings-on. Players have the punch and vulnerability cards to start with, just like in the normal DC comic deck building games. You go ahead, you play those, you buy the cards from the lineup. You also can take down the supervillains there as well. But you've also got weakness cards, which operate a little bit differently here. Now, in this game, if you have 2 weakness cards that you play out, if you have an oversized superhero, guess what? You lose him. Your turn also ends. He gets captured by the Batman That Laughs, and he's out of the game. But he could come back. Now, theoretically, some other cards and some other circumstances may allow you to recruit superheroes, and you could possibly even recruit more than one superhero, in which case you take those superheroes and you can have a team of superheroes, and you can get all of their advantages. You also have breakthrough cards, and breakthrough cards take the place of kick cards from the game, so they just give you two extra power with which to deal with that turn. But here's the thing, after you use a breakthrough, you can return it to your discard pile, or you can use it to destroy any weakness or vulnerability cards that you control at that time. You can take them out of the game, put them on their respective decks, or if it's a vulnerability, and just destroy it. Now, you also have another subcategory of cards. These are metal cards. Now, metal cards can belong to, heroes or equipment or whatever, but they're glossy. They are the foil cards. So they're pretty shiny, pretty interesting, and they can come in handy as they play off of each other in this game. So, again, just like other DC comic games, you're going ahead, you are trying to defeat the bad guys, you're trying to gain cards. Once the main deck runs out or all the bad guys are defeated, you go ahead, you look at all the points from your deck, all the cards that you've collected over the course of the game, and whoever has the highest VP score wins DC Comics deck building game Dark Knight's Metal. So, as you know, if you've followed the show, I'm a huge DC Comics deck building guy fan. In fact, the original DC Comics deck building game, that was the game that introduced me to deck building. I think I'd played another one or a couple of before that, and I didn't get the concepts and I didn't enjoy them, and I was not kind of looking forward. Cryptozoic actually sent me that one years ago, and I wasn't really looking forward to playing it, but I played it, my friends played it, and we fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I've loved every one since. I think there's some of the expansions that I haven't played, some of the smaller things that I haven't played, but all the big box stuff I've played, and I played a few of the expansions here and there, but I really, really love this system. It's a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it, every one I've played. And this one is no exception. I really like this one. It's a little darker thematically, which I like, which I found kind of compelling. But I like the cards that come up. I think they're interesting and thematic. I like the way the weaknesses are a little bit more dangerous here than they have been in previous games. Before, they just didn't do anything in your hand and then gave you the negative VP. Here they can actually really screw you by taking out your hero, by getting them captured. And I like the idea that you can have multiple heroes and have a team and have all that going for you. It can be, I guess, if one person gets that, it theoretically could be a little overpowered, but I haven't seen that happen yet. And in fact, the first game we're playing, there was somebody who I think got 2 or 3 of them, and they didn't win. So, there's other factors as well. But it's an interesting idea, and it's an interesting way it plays. And I was very, very excited about that. So, generally speaking, if you're a fan of the DC Comics deck building game, you're kind of a completist with the big boxes like me, you're going to want to pick this one up, absolutely no question. If you're new to the DC Comics deck building game, I would still probably recommend the original. The original, I think, is still a solid game, and I love it very much. I'm also a fan of Heroes United. I thought that one was really good as well, and they all have fun things they bring to it. But I'd say if you're new to the system, I'd probably go with the original DC Comics deck building game. But if you're familiar with the system, you like what these games do, I think you're going to love Dark Knight's Metal. It's a fantastic new version. 100% buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And ladies and gentlemen, there was that time where Robin couldn't find Batman, and he said, "Hey, Batman, where are you?" And Batman says, "I'm in the bathroom." And Robin said, "What's a haroom?" It never gets old. You can keep doing it and doing it.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
My only vulnerability is that I care too much. And knives, and bullets, and cheesecake. I do love a good cheesecake.